Welcome to Millennial Money Minutes, where we tackle tough personal finance topics in 5 minutes or less. With your host, Grant from MillennialMoney.com and Matt from DistilledDollar.com.
Hey everyone, today we're going to talk about my favorite book on entrepreneurism. It's called The Lean Startup by Eric Ries. I definitely recommend checking it out. There's a lot in the book, so we're not going to be able to cover everything, but just a quick bio on the guy who wrote it. He basically brought this management theory to the startup world, and it's taken storm. It's one of the most popular books out in Silicon Valley. So it's got a lot of credibility in that community, and I think the big reason is because the book kind of systematizes a lot of the innovation and a lot of that hard to intangible process of building out a business, but it also includes just the nuts and bolts, the basic business operations, the dry, black and white sort of stuff. So it includes everything in there, but it does it in such a, quick, case study by case study way. And so it's very easy to walk away. But it's one of those books too, where it's got a lot in there. So I dive back to it because, it's just, you always go back to, a good book and you sort of see those next level paradigms.
Yeah, one of the things he says in the book is entrepreneurship is management, which is the simple idea that there's, you might think that, I'm just building a product, but what you're really building is a set of processes and basically a set of flow. And this ties back to my favorite book, Blue Ocean Strategy, where when you're trying to outcompete a company and create a blue ocean, you build processes that really just can't be replicated, or it's difficult to be replicated. So in the case of Eric Ries, it's a nice hybrid of those two books, where if you're, you have to manage people, you have to manage processes to actually get things done. That's really where the differentiation and really success, lies. It's not just in the product itself.
Yeah, and just thinking back to the, some of the really simple things in the book was creative accounting. So, just different forms of accounting, because it goes back to, business at, a business that's 10 years along the road has, sales and metrics that are pretty regular, or just say, more along, but a startup might have a different form of accounting. And this is what that book dives into. It's how do you measure and what do you measure? What numbers do you look at? And that's what Eric Ries dives into, and there's a lot of cool creative ideas in there. So I definitely recommend checking it out. But within there, one idea is in terms of an R&D type of process, just trying to churn out ideas, and that harpens right back to Grant's idea. Just set a 2-week timeline for an idea and say, these two people are going to work on it for 2 weeks. And the book talks about this 2-week iterative process of just, test things over and over and over again and see what works and iterate from there.
Yeah, and I think that's just being rigorous about yourself. Before this book came out, a lot of management theory and a lot of people were just spending a long time building product, or they had archaic systems. And Eric Ries was one of those early adopters of just entrepreneurship. Like, any company that wants innovation should think of itself in a more entrepreneurial way, and it should have people inside who are constantly pushing the borders. This is something you saw. Gosh, the book came out, I think, in 2011. You saw just a big wave, and it's continued now. Huge companies investing massive amounts of money in innovation and development. Now everyone's chasing after the self-driving car and AI. It's the same principle. They're just being entrepreneurial in these big companies, and the more agile and iterative that you can be, the more likely you're going to find something that's successful. And
yeah, I was saying that's the beauty of the book, is that it gives you a process, so anyone can take the process and apply it. And if it doesn't work for you, it doesn't work. But you just gotta try it. And I would say I'll guarantee you this is gonna work, because it's just, again, it goes back to entrepreneurship is management, and management is just a science of, it's a certain study of what works and doesn't work. And so it just pulls out the best of that. And it's just funny because Eric Ries kind of dives through the theory of management, harpens back over 100 years ago to people in it was back in the day when a good worker, if he were to come to his boss and say, hey, I did a better job today than yesterday, that person would actually be fired, because back in the day, the management theory was if someone did a better job today than yesterday, he lied to you yesterday, and that. So Eric Ries goes all the way back to the beginning of, some of the crazy things in management theory, and he sort of breaks them all down, what works and what doesn't, and he brings it all the way to today and what we talked about in this episode. So yeah, definitely recommend the book. It's an incredible book. There's a lot to it. There's a lot in there. And we just glanced along the top, so definitely recommend checking it out. The Lean Startup by Eric Ries. So we hope this was helpful, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks for listening to Millennial Money Minutes. If you liked this podcast, please leave us a review on iTunes and subscribe. If you want us to cover a specific topic, use #MillennialMoney on Twitter or visit millennialmoneyminutes.com.